friends, what's going on here? David Potts with Song Notes, and I'm excited to show you the Chris Stapleton song, Starting Over. This is from his 2020 album of the same name. A lot of you have requested this song, so thanks for the request, thanks for the patience and me getting it out to you. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. So, as I just showed you there, I made a PDF chord sheet, as I do for all of my lessons here. You can get this over at my website, playsongnotes.com. This is handcrafted by me. It's not copy and pasted off the web. It's like I manually put this together, edit it, design it, curate it, lay it out. It gives you everything you need to know. First page will give you all the lyrics, a tab for the intro, all the chord diagrams, right? Page 2 is going to get into the chord shapes with tabs if you need a bit more explanation. I'll show you the chord progressions. Page 3, I'll talk about strumming. I'll show you a few different strumming options. And then on page 4, I'll do the sort of beginning to end strum diagrams for the entire thing. So you'll be in good shape. This will get you where you need to go. Thanks to all of you who are supporting me on Patreon. It's very, very appreciative, and honestly, it is fueling the fire that makes all these possible. So I'm going to keep them coming for sure. And let's get into this lesson, guys. I'm going to be capo 3rd fret. Jump ahead if you know what you're looking for. Let's zoom on in and learn this song, Starting Over by Chris Stapleton. Let's go. All right, y'all, so let's kick this off by looking right at the intro. We're going to dive right into this tab, and then I'll continue into the verse and everything, and later on I'll show you some more complicated strumming and everything. So these first 4 chords are really going to be a big part of this song, right? So this first one's going to be a G chord, and we're going to go to a G4, what I'm calling a G4. Some folks will call this a G at 11. For all intensive purposes, they're the same things, right? So G, and we're going to put our index finger down on that first fret of the 2nd string. We want to be going on and off on that note as we're in a G position. Okay, that takes us from a G to a G4, back to a G, and then back to the G4, and then we're going to go to the C major 7, and we're going to switch to that by just moving these 2 fingers. Right? We're going to move them closer to the ground, 1 string each, release that index finger, and then this is going to be a C major 7, and you put that finger back down, which turns it into a C, and then we go back down to the C major 7. Okay? Now I'm going to get into rhythm and strumming like I said, but if you were just to casually do this, and you were sort of to think of this song in your head, you know? Right? I went to the G4, back to the G, then you go to the G4 again, then you go to the C major 7, and end on the C, and then you repeat it. Do this a few times, you're going to notice that these 3 fingers right here are just kind of doing minimal movement. They're only going between here on the G and here on the C, and it's really this finger on and off which is giving a lot of the sort of character to this part, right? Now, if we were to look into a simple strum for this intro, a simple strum meaning we're going to do a bass note down, bass note down, bass note down, bass note down. When I say bass note, I mean the thickest string in the chord you're playing, right? And if you get the thickest 2 strings or 3 strings, that's fine too. You basically want to have a light strum, bigger strum, right? Alternate. We could do the whole intro like that. It would look like this, right? One more time. Like a welcome mat. So I'm going to continue into the verse here, but know that what I just showed you is going to continue into the verse as well. So the verse looks like this. I'm going to show you the words and the chords above them for now. Again, I'll get into strumming, more complicated strumming in a little bit. But the only difference here, the only new chords we're going to need are a D and a D sus2, which is just letting your finger off the thinnest string. And you add those 2 chords into the G, the G4, the C major 7, the C, and we can play the entire verse. And that will sound like this, basically. If I did a sort of casual sing-talk play with minimal strumming, you know? Well, the road rose out like a welcome mat. Right? From the G to the G4 to the G, then we go to the C major 7. To a better place than the one we're at. Right? C major 7 to the C and back to the C major 7. Then we go to the D. And I ain't got no kind of plan. And here we're going to go to the D sus2 and we're going to stay on the D sus2. And then we go to a C, a regular C. But I've had all this town that I can stand. And then here again, just like the D to the D sus2, you're going to go from the C to the C major 7 and stay on it. Okay, let me do the second verse here. I'll do the same thing, and I'll do just a casual sort of bass note strum for the whole thing. You kind of get the idea. And again, later in the lesson, I'll do a more complicated strum. And I got friends out on the coast. We can jump in the water and see what floats. We've been saving for a rainy day. Let's beat the storm, be on our way. Okay, and that's all you're gonna need for the verse of this song. It's basically the same idea of the G to the G sus4 to the G, and the C major 7 to the C, right? And the order changes a little bit, but that's basically what we're going to need. I'll show you chord progressions in a more technical sense in a little bit, but I want to keep things simple in this first half. So that's going to be all on page 1 of my PDF. All right, now let's move on to the chorus of this song here, because the chorus uses different chords, and I just wanted to show you the main part of this in case you want to just take the basics and add your own strumming and everything. So big picture, it looks like this. We're going to have an E minor, a D over F sharp, to a G, to a C add 9, back to a D F sharp, and to a G. We're going to repeat that, and that's really the hardest part. So let me explain what's going on here. So the tabs for these chords, as like they're normally taught, if you looked them up, would look like this. Regular E minor is just 2 notes. A D with an F sharp bass note is commonly played like this. I think Chris Stapleton plays it like this from looking at a live video. This one's tricky because you have to wrap your thumb around, get that second fret of the low E string. I don't play it this way. I'm going to show you how I play it in just a moment, but I want to teach you this for due diligence here. That's your D over F sharp, and now for your G, you want to keep your ring finger on that second string, 3rd fret, and then put the 3rd fret of the thinnest string, and then your bass notes. That's your G, okay? D over F sharp to G. Again, notice how that ring finger is staying still. And then a C add 9 is you take this G shape and you just move these 2 fingers towards the floor 1 string. Okay, C add 9 to G, C add 9 to G, D over F sharp, and then your E minor. Now, let me show you how I play these chords, because I find this a lot easier, and you might too. The cool part about this is and this is more of the Oasis style chords, is you're gonna use your ring finger and your pinky on the 3rd fret of the thinnest 2 strings for all 4 of these chords. You're just going to keep them there, keep them planted. And all you're doing is moving these 2 fingers between your E minor, your D over F sharp, your G, your C add 9. Okay, so again, the E minor is just a regular E minor fingers right here. Put these 3rd fret babies right there. And this is a cool one. When you go from the E minor to the D over F sharp, all you're going to do is take these 2 strings. This one is going to go towards your face, one string, and this one is going to go towards the floor, 1 string. So it's almost like, right? This is actually in the lesson Shallow, which is a popular lesson I've made. These same chords are used there, right? So it's a really handy little voicing there. So E minor to the D over F sharp. The 3rd fret in parentheses means I don't really strum it, but I keep my finger there. That's what it means. It's an optional note there. And then for the G and the C add 9 are pretty self-explanatory. So now if we were to go back to the words of this song, right? It don't matter to me, wherever we are is where I want to be. That's kind of if you did a single strum. But I think the way to really do this song is to use that simple strum I told you, the bass down, and this part of the chorus will sound like this, right? It don't matter to me, wherever we are is where I want to be. Baby, for once in our lives, let's roll the dice and take a chance. Did I sing that incorrectly? You get the idea, right? So bass note, strum, bass note, strum, bass note, strum. Repeat that in the G, C add 9, D over F sharp, G. Again, E minor, D over F sharp, G. C add 9, D over F sharp, G. Okay, and that's going to be the sort of fast moving part of the intro, of the chorus, I'm sorry. And then the second part of the chorus is going to be just regular open chords for the most part. We're going to be on a D for 2 measure, right? I can be your lucky penny. Then to a C, you can be my 4-leaf. Then a C major 7, clover. Starting over. Then you go back to the G, and you do the regular thing there, right? So that's going to give you what you need for the verse and then the chorus. The last part, if you want to do a simple strum, is just this bridge, which is all simple, you know, A minor, E minor, G. For another measure, G, A minor, E minor, D for 2 measures, then D sus 2 for 2 measures. It don't matter to me. Okay, so I showed you everything you need to know there. Now on page 2 of my PDF, I have this chord progression sheet here for the intro, the verse, the chorus, and the bridge. It shows you just the 4 beats per measure, and it shows you basically what chords you're going to play on what count. So you're mainly switching on the 1 counts. But in the chorus, you're going to switch every 2 beats, right? E minor, 2, D over F sharp, 2, G, 2, 3, 4, C, D over F sharp, G, right? So some faster changes are happening in the chorus. But this is the chord progression sheet, and then you can take this if you want and apply your own strumming. But now I've showed you the sort of lay of the land and the chord shapes. Now let's look into the strumming patterns if you want to really spice things up and dial this up to sound a bit more like Chris Stapleton. So first up, let's look at, again, strumming patterns as I've taught you. The most basic one is just this bass note down, bass note down, bass note down, bass note down. This is a good one to get handy with, right? Just feel the bounce. When I say bass note, it's okay if you get the thickest 2 or 3 strings. And for the full strum, it's okay if you just do the thinnest 3 or 4 strings. Don't overdo it. Kind of a nice, breezy, light sound. Nice bounce, right? Now, to do the more complicated strum, I like to do 2 different possibilities. One is a bass note down, up, bass note down, up, bass note down, up, 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and... So in practice, that would be... Okay, so the other one I want to show you that's similar to that is it has the same foundation. It's just adding an extra up strum on the 2 end counts. So bass down up, bass down up. Let me take it slower. Bass down up, bass down up, bass down up, 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and. Okay. Practice these without chords if they're giving you trouble at first. That's a good way to just worry about your right hand, okay? Now, that second strum I showed you, I use that on some of the parts when he's singing, for example, in the verse, for example, when he goes from the D to the D sus 2. The D sus 2 happens when he's not singing anymore, and that's when you're gonna kind of want to sneak in some extra up strums. So that's where you might use that other pattern, right? Same for the C. Okay, now on page 4 of my PDF here, I have the strumming for the entire song, the intro, the verse, and the chorus, all marked out for every measure in all 4 of those sections, all 3 of those sections. And what this helps you do is sort of understand when you use the bass down, up, bass down, up, bass down, versus the bass down, up, bass down, up, down, up. Okay, and one other final quick note about the strumming is if you look at the chorus here, notice in the first line of the chorus, because a lot of these measures switch chords halfway through, I'm doing a bass down, up, bass down, up. So for example, on the E minor, to D over F sharp to G. So in the G, I'm going back to my regular strum there. But on the E minor and to the D F over F sharp, I'm doing a bass, down, up, bass, down, up, bass, down, up, down, up, bass, down, up, bass, down, up, bass, down, up, down, up, bass, down, up, bass, down, up, bass, down, up, down, up, bass, down, up, bass, down, up, bass, down, up, down, up. Okay, so again, see page 4 for this. And what I'm going to do now is give you a playthrough of the entire thing. And I can't sing like Stapleton. Fortunately, this is not Tennessee whiskey. But hopefully what this will do is give you a sense of how things sound when you put it all together. Okay, so let's get my lyric sheet here. And again, you can get this PDF over at my website and follow along with me here. And this is a good thing to practice with, right? You don't want to, you can't learn a song in 10 minutes usually. Take some study and practice. That's why I make these PDFs, is you can sort of take them after you play the song. So let's do this. This is Starting Over by Chris Stapleton, capo 3rd fret, and I'm going to do the beginning to end cover. Thanks to all of you guys who are supporting me on Patreon and through my tip jar. It's super appreciated, y'all. I really appreciate it. I hope you're finding these lessons helpful, the PDFs helpful, and all that sort of stuff. So until next time, I'll play it out. Well, the road rolls out like a welcome mat to a better place than the one we're at. And I ain't got no kind of plan. And had all the time I can stand. And I got friends out on the coast. We can jump in the water and see the saving for a rainy day. Let's beat the storm and be on our way. It don't matter to me wherever we are, where I want to be. And honey, once in our lives, take our chances and roll the dice. I can be your lucky penny, you can be my four-leaf clover. Starting over. This might not be an easy time. There's rivers to cross and hills to climb. Some days we might fall apart. Some nights might feel cold and dark. When nobody wins